Hey everyone, there are several items I have here today that I want to show you, and I want to start with this binder. This is really thick. It's a 2-inch binder, but it's the mini size, and I believe that's like 5.5 by 8.5, something like that. So I basically have this because it replaced those King Jim sticker folders I had. I had all three, plus a separate Atelier's Penelope pouch that I was keeping all of this stuff in. And I ended up not really liking those King Jim sticker books because some of them were great, and then the designs of some other ones I feel like didn't utilize the space well enough. And what happened is Robin actually sent me this binder, which is got a 1-inch ring mechanism here. And she sent me this because she had it and wasn't using it. And she included all of these inserts. So this is like a 4-card insert, and it came with so many of these. She was very, very generous. And then these ones, which have 2 slots right here. So depending on the size of the items that I have, I just choose what fits better, either these 4 slots or the double slots. And then I myself bought these full length sheet protectors, and I actually need to punch them a little bit more on the top and the bottom hole because they are a little bit tight. And this ring mechanism on this particular binder isn't like the best. So sometimes it can catch when these rings don't want to close tightly enough. But I have everything in here and it's so much more streamlined. And the only reason I really want everything all together is because this is literally all the stuff that I have. All of the stickers, all of the ephemera. Like I have extra ones of these labels, which are my favorite to use. And I have those in a separate bin, like in storage in my closet. So anything that I am currently using is in here. And if there are extras of anything, those are put away in storage until I need to replenish this item. So I actually, and this is a 2-inch ring, so I will put in the photo of when I had all this stuff in here. It's pretty crazy how that ended up looking, and that's why I ended up sizing up. And I was actually still planning to go through everything I had in here because every once in a while, like every few months, I like to comb through all of the stickers that I have and make sure they are things that I actually still want to use or plan to use. And if anything feels a bit dated to me, or if anything's just aging out in any way, I will get rid of that. And I was planning to do that once more when I transitioned into this binder. I still am probably gonna do it because I didn't think everything was gonna fit in here well enough. And it actually does. It fits so much better than I initially thought it was. I still thought I was gonna overstuff this. But so basically there's no rush. When I have time, I will go through this and comb through everything once again. The only thing I'll say is, and I knew this going in, the top parts of this, the stuff does tend to want to fall out if I'm being a bit rough with it. But on the whole, I do store it like this. And so everything stays in there really well. But if I were gonna toss this around, I would need to be a bit careful. So I chose this faux leather cover because I just think it goes well with everything that I have in my journal tote. And I do keep this in my journal tote. I like it much better than just your typical white binders that you can find anywhere. And you know, all my bags kind of look like this, all my pouches, and obviously everything else I have, all my journal covers are all leather. So I just think this blends in really nicely with everything. And I love that it's so tiny. It's a really small profile, but it has big rings and I can fit everything in here. So like I said, when I get around to it, I will go through this and comb through everything. Stuff that I haven't opened up yet, I'm just keeping in these pockets in the front. And then in the back, I had the onion skin journal like sometime last year, I think, and I didn't finish it. There were actually a lot of pages left in that. And I love the paper, especially for collaging, and I like how translucent it is. So I ended up tearing out a bunch of pages from the onion skin journal, and I just keep them back here and I use them, you know, in collaging or journaling, and I just like having them back here like that. I missed a hole there, but I'm scared to open this and put it in, so I will do that later. But I just wanted to share that with you. I got this off Amazon. All these inserts can be found on Amazon too, so I will just link those in case you're interested. But yeah, so that is my new sticker and ephemera system, and I really like how that panned out. And I do want to show this, which I just gave a peek of. So I was on Etsy, and I always have a look at the Lindock pouches. You know, I show them all the time because they're my favorite pouches. These are two of them that I currently have in use. And as you can see, I have like a theme of colors and florals that I'm really attracted to. This is another one from Etsy. I believe this one is from the Retro Seamstress, but I'm always on the hunt for these very brown and vintagey looking pouches and items. And so Lindock has always been my go-to place for pouches like this, and her quality is just unsurpassed. But I think Etsy suggested this to me or something, but it's Jimmy K Designs on Etsy, and she uses exclusively vintage fabrics. Like I believe this one is from the 1970s, and she constructs bags of all sizes. And what I like is her bags are different sizes than what Lindock offers. And I love this size. I think this is one of the biggest ones she makes. It's like 10 by 8, something like that. But look at this fabric. It's so beautiful, and it has gorgeous texture on it, and her construction is absolutely top notch. I mean, it's on par with what I've experienced with Lindock. She's an amazingly good seamstress, and her zipper here is also a YKK zipper. And what I like is she actually coordinates the interior lining fabric with, you know, the fabric on the outside. Lindock does tend to just use this same taupey, beigey kind of fabric. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but you know, it's just like this extra touch of hers. And it's just, I'm very, very happy with this. And like you can tell, this fabric is very, very thin, even with a lining fabric on the inside. So she actually has interfacing in here that gives it structure and stiffness just a little bit, but I find that it's perfect. It's the perfect amount. And as you can see, I have all of my stamps in, well, like half of my stamps in here. Previously, I was using the Superior Labor pouch, and everything that I had in here, and this was pretty bulky. I've shown it in some other videos where it's packed, and everything in there fits in here. This, I mean, it's kind of like the same footprint in that this is less, or it's more narrow but taller, so it kind of fits the same amount. And honestly, this is much more my style. This is much more what I'm gonna go for. So I did transition from the Superior Labor and put everything in here. But I just definitely wanted to highlight this shop because I'm so impressed by the quality of her work. And she posts a lot of new items, like fairly frequently, which is really nice. So I like to just get on sometimes and see what else is new with all the shops that I love. And I'm glad to have another one that I can look at. And her fabrics that she picks, a lot of them are very like mod style. So definitely have a look there if you're looking for another place to get your floral pouch fix, because I go there a lot and I check it every day. Like she's gonna post like more perfect things for me. Okay, so the last thing that I want to show is this. So this is for all of you that asked me if I was gonna make a cover for my Hibino, my Midori Hibino planner. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep it naked because it's brown and it's gonna go with all my Maverick brown leather covers that I have. So, okay, you're right, okay? So this is the cover that I made. I really wanted a trifold, obviously. This is what I went for. So I still have to break this in a little bit. I did align it with this fabric, and I learned from my last time trying to do this, and I only put the one layer in here, and I can already tell it's much more pliable than the one I messed up on. It's recently gotten really cold here, so like all my stuff is really like seized up a lot more than it usually does. So anyway, I glued the Wicked & Craig glazed harness leather, just a strip of leather. It's open on both ends, and I sewed it on, and I decided to only sew where this piece is, and I did not do stitching all the way around, mostly because you can't see the beginning or the end of the stitching here from the front, and that's fine. I prefer stitching that continues. I don't like to see the stitching and have it abruptly stop. So if there's no stitching visible on the front, then I'm good with not having the stitching there. So this is how that looks. The funny thing about this cover is that I actually have this corset stitch on the back because these are actually two separate pieces of leather. So what happened was this piece here, which I adore, this was actually a B6 cover that I made, and I showed it, I believe, in my Fleurir Lab video. I'll link that one below. But in that video, it was B6 size because I made it for that B6 planner. And I'm really on the fence about getting any Fleurir Labs for 2023, mainly because like she hasn't updated anything. And it was kind of the same way last year too. And I didn't get my planner until January. And I'm kind of satisfied with the stuff that I have for next year. And I don't really need to add anything else, but we'll see, you know how that is. But anyway, I wasn't for sure that I was going to use this B6 cover, and I just decided I'm going to cut this down and actually make it into something that I know I'm definitely going to use for something I definitely have. So I cut it up, and then of course, since it was just a B6 folio, there was definitely not enough leather to make an A6 trifold. And so what I ended up doing is there was enough of this fabric to hit right about here, but I knew that that's where the fold was going to be. And I didn't want this to lay on a fold because then it would kind of like, it wouldn't curve nice. It would buckle right there at the seam. So I trimmed it down. I trimmed this piece of leather down to where it would hit the flat part so that it would just stay flat. And this is the first time I did a corset stitch. And it was not bad at all. And it holds together really well. And I think it's a nice little funky addition. And then I just have the stitching for the interior pocket here. And I just think that looks kind of cool. And I love the juxtaposition of these two very differently textured leathers right there. So that's just like a neat little detail. And because this stitching was on the inside here, I knew I needed to cover it up because this is where my book is gonna go. And I wanted to protect this as much as possible. So I was like, well, let me just line it with fabric and cover it up. And that worked out great, thank goodness. And then I just put this leather piece here. So it's fairly simple. I will say, I did hammer my finger putting these snaps in. Oh, it was so bad. I've never done that before. And it was this one, so it messed up slightly. It won't close unless I have it like this way. Like if I try to snap it like this, sometimes it won't, but let's see. Okay, it's gonna behave for the video. Okay, that's nice. But yeah, so this is my A6 trifold that I made for the Hibino. And you know, I've got room in there. I can keep a pen in here, which I think I will. And I don't really plan for this to bulk up much, but there's actually room. I can add another snap like further in and just shift this whole thing down if I needed to, but I don't really want to do that. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you, you know. So you're right. I couldn't help make a cover for it, you know, whatever. I guess you guys know me better than I know myself. Robin was like, yeah, everybody knew you were going to do that. So anyway, that's all I have to share with you today. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll put the links below to all of these things in case you're interested. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.